Oh, this is my favorite part.
There has to be some sarcasm, right?
No, there's absolutely no sarcasm.
You generally like doing the press
I mean,
conferences?
when you lose the fight, you don't get to sit here.
That's, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. So anyway, Drew, how about that fight? You're a guy that you don't want boring fights. You don't want boring opponents. You want, even at media day, you want stars in these exciting moments. So is this exactly what you expected from your dance partner tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. He was a far cooler individual than I thought he was, and he was more technical than I assumed he was. But I knew he was very athletic and chaotic, and so the game plan going, it was to stay calm and collected and patiently dangerous. But man, that second round, he tried to draw me into a firefight, and man, it was pretty exciting.
So when he dodged that flurry from you and then he started to do the robot, was any part of you just like, all right, F the game plan, I'm just gonna run at this guy?
No, that was a lot of fun. I mean, we're all entertainers, and those are the type of dance partners that I want to get in the cage with. And that was the first time anyone's ever done that to me. And so, man, I was just enjoying it like everyone else. I was like, good for you.
And then the punch, it would look like it was to the chest. Even the commentary thought it maybe the floating rib that you connected with it. Where exactly did you punch him that dropped him?
I was aiming for his liver. Now where it landed, I wasn't quite sure. But he was really hard to hit. Now I was getting a little I was head hunting, and so then I just saw his elbow was being picked up, and I got the gracious Oscar Martinez telling me to go to the body, and so I did, and it worked out.
And that KO, I think, gives you 7 KOs in the UFC, which puts you second behind Dustin Poirier for most in UFC lightweight history. So, what do you make of that rise up the record books?
I got an idea of that ranking, and I'm not number one yet, so I'm not satisfied. So that's what I'm gunning for.
And did you say Terrence Crawford was?
Yeah, Omaha boy, man. Anthony Smith, Drew Dober, Bud, Terrence Crawford. Man, there's something in the water in Omaha, Nebraska, because we're producing fighters and real good fighters too.
Have you ever met him? Like, did you have a relationship with him, or did you just?
Yeah. Anthony, Anthony and I grew up in MMA together, and then Terrence Crawford. Anytime I wanted to work on some boxing, he was gladly punching me in the mouth.
So, I assume you're picking him against Spence when that fight eventually happens. Are you going to try to go to that fight?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think Spence needs to sign that contract so that way Bud can make some money. And man, I'm all for that.
Obviously, at media day, you said you want these star opponents. You don't just want to fight guys that aren't going to bring all the attention. I know you kind of laughed at Paddy Pimblett wasn't mentioned. You said you would like to collide with that hype train. Is there any other names that you want moving forward after this one?
I think that Bobby Green fight, like Bobby and I mean, that fight would be incredible. And I love the dude to death. Like, he's such a fun fighter. And so I think that fight needs to happen eventually. He's not available this year. Man, that Jim Miller fight would be really cool. I've been looking up to him for a while. If I pulled out the list of guys that I want to fight, it would have hit the floor. Man, there's so many guys.
And one last one. When you win, I think you're the one that when you finish your opponent, you go to your knees. You don't get up until they get up, correctly? Why is that?
It's the ups and downs. I mean, very few fighters are undefeated, and we put our blood, sweat, and tears in every single moment we're in that cage. And so when my job is over, as soon as that ref stops it, right, now I just want to show respect to the other man in the ring, right, the dance partner. I can't do this without him, and vice versa. That respect, and my old wrestling coach told me you got to act like you've been there, right? So I've been visualizing this win for the last 8 weeks, so when it happens, I'm not surprised. So all respect to my opponent.
I gotta ask you one thing about that flurry. I know you touched on it a second ago, but did you catch, like, he actually gave you a little finger wag in there too during that whole moment?
Dude, there was actually a lot of like commentary throughout the entire fight. Man, we were shaking our head, we were dancing and smiling at each other. Yeah, I mean, whether he was doing it or I was doing it, we were pretty vocal in a positive way too.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, usually when we see guys be so friendly, sometimes the fight doesn't necessarily play out like it did. Mm-hmm. Has that ever been a thing for you where it's like you kind of you need an animosity, so to speak, or does that not affect you at all?
So absolutely not. And this is just my belief in that friends fight harder, right? Because what happens when you hate the guy, you don't want to lose to the guy. And so you fight like you don't want to lose, right? But Rafael Alves, man, I love that dude. And so both him and I respect and loved each other. And so we got out there, we performed to the best of our ability. We were taking chances, we were having fun. And I think that's what the audience wants to see. So I think fighters need to be friends more often and manage to beat their friends up.
I guess lastly for me, like, how soon do you want to get back in there?
November, because I'm here trying to celebrate Christmas. So if we can find a lightweight that wants to step in before, that'd be great. I know, right? Thank you so much, guys.